Nothing significant happened on this show, did it? Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, another episode of 97th Heaven. And as you can tell by the title, we are going to look at the Survivor Series 1997. A controversial show, to be sure. I almost feel like this is an episode cashing in, marking out, which so many of you want to return and never ever will. That you've got, everyone remembers the Montreal Screwjob. What about the rest of the show? Was that any good? Tonight we'll find out. We are live at the Molson Centre, which is in Montreal, Canada. There's 20,593 rabid Canadian fans on hand. This is the venue that Jerry the King Lawler suffered his heart attack in case anyone cares. Also, No Way Out 2003 was held here. Need to say before I get on, right, is that dear me, the ring announcer does the ring announcing in French, which I understand. We're in Quebec, which is predominantly a French-speaking place. I get that, and having a French ring announcer is great. I'm sure the people there, thought it was a nice little touch. Yeah, a pay-per-view audience, it just doesn't work for me at all. It just doesn't work for me at all. It's very, very silly. Anyway, in the opening contest, the Godwinns and Road Dogg and Billy Gunn defeated the Headbangers and the new Blackjacks in a Survivor Series match. So we see footage from 3 weeks ago on Raw, where the future New Age Outlaws, because they're not called that at the moment, the future New Age Outlaws bash Thrasher of the Headbangers over the head with a boombox, busting him open, which is all good. Road Dogg cuts a promo on the way to the ring, calls his opponent steers and queers, which is a great way to endear himself with the fans, isn't it? JR reminds us that 5 of the men in this match have held tag team gold, which is quite a scary thought. So, I mean, literally, this is the kind of match where all I can do for you is tell you about the eliminations, because there isn't really anything of substance in it. So when you got Bradshaw pins Harry Godwinn after a nice abdominal stretch pin, that was nice. Phileas evens the score by pinning Barry Windham after a clothesline. The fans are not interested in any part of this match, all right, other than one element of it, and that is chanting the word faggot at Billy Gunn with quite reckless abandon, to be honest. It's quite loud. In fact, it's very loud. I'm not going to deny it. It's very, very loud and very, very noticeable. Billy Gunn pins Mosh after a nice Bulldog thing. I don't actually know what it was, to be honest. Thrasher makes it 2-on-2 by hitting a center off the top rope after about 12 minutes. Nice gut wrench powerbomb by Bradshaw on Road Dogg, who then rolls him up despite... Road Dogg rolls him up. It gets the 3 despite the shoulder clearly coming off the mat. Oh, shit. Thrasher reverses a pump handle slam attempt, but Gunn comes off the top with a leg drop that misses by a good foot, and that's got us the win. Survivors are the 2 members of the future New Age Outlaws. Nothing offensive in it. There's no botches. There's not really a lot of dead air, but it's just there was no substance to it at all. Eliminations came thick and fast, which I suppose is a good thing. And you could go 2 stars for this one if you really wanted to, but there isn't really that much to it. So next, the Truth Commission, who are Sniper, Recon, Interrogator, and the Jackyl, defeating D.O.A. members Crush, Skull, 8-Ball, and Chainz in another Survivor Series match. So the Truth Commission making their one and only pay-per-view appearance here. I've gone through the records just to check on this one. No other pay-per-views, just this one. Excuse me. The Jackyl is will be probably more better known to ECW fans later on in the ECW's run as Cyrus. He was the network guy, wasn't he? Recon is the artist who will become Bull Buchanan. Interrogator is Kurgan, and I've absolutely no idea who Sniper is. Not a fucking clue. What was that the other thing I was going to say? Nope, that's actually all I've got. Interrogator pins Chainz after a nice sidewalk slam. Jackyl hits a nice knee off the top, then gets eliminated by 8-Ball after a spinning sidewalk slam. Jackyl then does coloured commentary for the rest of the match, and it's awful. Skull and 8-Ball do a switcheroo and pin Recon. Truth Commission get rid of Skull and 8-Ball, then Sniper falls to a crush power slam, leaving it 1-on-1 that lasts all of 1 second as Interrogator pins Crush after a sidewalk slam to win the match. Nothing to it whatsoever. Nothing at all. But at least it was short. This one lasted like 10 minutes, if that. We then talked to some fans about who's going to win between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels in the main event. And believe it or not, it's actually quite split. I was expecting it to be a whitewash for Bret. But no, a lot of them say Shawn. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin's talking to the AOL guys backstage. Kevin Kelly talks to him, which is lovely. Next, Team Canada, which is the British Bulldog, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Doug Furnas, Phil Lafon, defeating Team USA, which is Vader, Mark Mero, Goldust, and Steve Blackman in a match that I really enjoyed. In fact, I actually think this is probably the best match of the night. And yes, so first things first, we have to pick things like this apart, don't we? Because we're nitpicky bastards. And that is, you've got 4 members of Team Canada, yeah? One of which is from Canada. Yeah. Yep, that's right. Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Doug Furnas are both American, and the British Bulldog is French. So, you know, Phil LaFon actually says, that was a joke, come on. That was funny. I laughed. Inside, I'm giggling at that, because that's actually quite good. It's not at all, it's poor. Anyway, yeah, Phil LaFon cuts a promo basically saying, Doug Furnas cuts a promo before the match saying that he was born in America, but he's sick of America, so it's all good. I remember reading about Doug Lafon and Phil Lafon and Doug Furnas in WWF's magazine at the time, because they really put them over as a really great team, been wrestling in Japan, full of suplexes. And I remember thinking to myself that, yeah, they're all right, but they're not as good as you seem to think they are, you know? Anyway, Goldust had turned heel after Bad Blood, abandoning Marlena and their young daughter. I assume this wasn't the plan all along. I'd always heard that the plan was for Marlena to turn heel on Goldust, but I assume Brian Pillman's death had something to do with that not happening. So, you know, Goldust is to turn heel. He's also got a broken hand, and I'm not sure why. And there's more. Steve Blackman making his pay-per-view debut. He had been in the crowd on Raw the previous week, and it was Vader versus the French Bulldog versus the British Bulldog in a chain match, and the rest of Team Canada had attacked Vader. So Blackman jumped the rail and beat them all up. He then got taken to jail, because that apparently was what happens if you jump the rail. I got asked it on my Q&A this week, actually, so there you go. Now you know. The answer I gave was utter shit, and it's actually that you go to jail if you jump the rails. Anyway, Vader played for his bail to get him out, and then basically begged Sergeant Slaughter to give him a job on the roster. So this is his debut. Mark Mero making his pay-per-view debut as well. So let's go through this one, shall we? If I can remember where my fucking place is. Oh, sorry, yeah, I just need to say one more thing about that one before I go on. That doesn't set a good example to the kids, does it? Does Blackman's one? Because, hey kids, want to be a wrestler? Just jump over the barrier and save your favourite wrestler, and you'll be hired. No, that's not really how it works. Anyway, the crowd for Hart, for Sable, and for Team Canada, obviously. They go nuts when Bulldog hits a power slam and a vertical suplex on Vader. Blackman is counted out and eliminated because he doesn't know the rules, which is quite funny. Vader pins Neidhart after a big splash, and then Lafon after a splash off the second rope. You've got Goldust on the outside. Every time one of them goes for tag, he won't tag in. He's got a broken hand. That's fair enough. And then I think this is the start of Tafka Goldust, as some people like to call him, which is also the artist formerly known as Goldust. Furnas rolls up Mero to pin him. Vader wants to tag Goldust, but we won't again, so that's allowing Furnas to suplex Vader, which is quite an impressive achievement. Arana gets 2, also on Vader, which is fantastic. And then you sat there watching it going, and then I just had to stop it. I had to pause it and go, fuck me. In the second row, there's a guy dressed as Sting. I mean, spot on outfit. Yeah, to the point where that's why I stopped, because it's a double take sort of. Is that Sting in the front row? You know, a month before Starrcade 97, Sting's in the front row, can you believe it? Anyway, Vader tries to tag Goldust in, but he's having none of it. So Vader naturally slaps him and launches him into the ring. So Goldust goes, well, fuck this, and walks off, gets counted out. So Vader left all on his own. Vader bomb for Furnas to eliminate him as he then turns into British Bulldog with a ring bell one shot 1, 2, 3, game over. I really enjoyed this a lot more than I was expecting. Team Canada wrestle. It's an interesting dynamic because they're in Canada, these guys are ridiculously over, but they still wrestled as heels. But of course, everything they did got cheered to hell, so it's very, very strange. But yeah, I like this. I like the storytelling of this one because at the end of the day, Vader did a lot of work. Vader looked great in this match. Legitimately looked brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I hope that there's a Vader versus Goldust match down the line to continue the story. Yada, yada, yada. So good. 3 stars in my opinion. We get a video package of Kane's path of destruction since Bad Blood. He's been kicking ass and taking names, let's put it that way. But we also see on that same video package, The Undertaker say that he will never fight his flesh and blood. He'll never fight Kane. And I believe him. I know he'll never fight Kane. But then also part of this build-up package was seeing Kane destroying Dude Law, chokeslamming him on the entrance ramp, and of course Mick Foley morphed into his Mankind character to get revenge, and that's what match we see here is Kane defeating Mankind in a good match. I enjoyed this match. I enjoyed the story that it told here, because this was basically Mankind, or Mick Foley, or whatever you want to call him, saying, I'm going to make this guy look awesome. And that's pretty much what he did. I mean, you've got Kane's red mood lighting, looks so poor. You know, when Sin Cara recently has been wrestling, they've had the blue and gold lights, and it's just looked really rubbish, yeah? Similar sort of thing here. It does not look good. Kane basically batters Mankind all over the ring, all over the ring. But then the place goes absolutely freaking nuts. When Mankind comes back with a chair shot, he does a pulling pile driver. Kane launches Mankind off the apron through the Spanish announce table, though, which is a nasty looking bump. Amazing. Not only does he get up, but he's able to hit a nice DDT on the outside and the cactus elbow. But eventually it just catches up to make there's too much for it. Tombstone power driver gets the win. While it's 10 minutes, it was short. It wasn't a squash, is the point in this one. Is that Mankind got enough offense in to look credible, but at the same time, he did everything in his power, I think, to make Kane look like a badass. And that you can't go wrong with, can you? Next up, Nation's Domination, which is Farooq, D.O.A. Brown, Karma Mustafa, and some guy called Rocky Maivia, defeating the Legion of Doom, Ken Shamrock, and Ahmed Johnson in an all-right Survivor Series match. So while the face team are cutting a promo with I'm not Michael Hayes, Doc Hendricks, you can barely hear what they're saying. Shamrock talks and Hawk talks, and you can barely hear what Shamrock's saying. First of all, he mumbles his way through his promo. But secondly, these Canadians are really looking forward to one thing about this match, and that's chanting Rocky sucks at Maivia. Because you can hear it while they're cutting their promo. Fantastic. LOD are tag team champs, as I told you last time. They won the belts 8 days, after Bad Blood, which is, I suppose, all good. They do the Hawk no-selling the power driver spot 30 seconds into the match, which is all good if it wasn't that the very next move that Hawk took was the rock bottom, which pinned him. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? So the Nation beat on Ahmed, but he's able to escape the Dominator, which has got to be the most easily escapable finish move that there is. Hits the Pearl River Plunge. That eliminates Farooq. D.O.A. hits a perfect lowdown on Ahmed. Ahmed then comes back with a Falcon Arrow, of all things. Farooq holds onto his leg as he comes off the ropes, basically holds him down so that Rock can get an easy pin. Karma and Animal then go to it to utter silence. So to amuse themselves, the audience chant Rocky sucks at Rock. Fantastic. They do there's a weird thing where this horrible, almost like a fire alarm, really high-pitched noise goes off. Jim Ross blames it on Kane as Kane just left the building. King just goes, nah, it's probably just Kevin Dunn. Fantastic, really like that. Karma is rolled up by Animal to eliminate him. D.O.A. brisks a really nice looking springboard moonsault attempt. Animal starts to unload, but Gunn and Dogg come out wearing the LOD spikes, throw some powder in his eyes. Animal doesn't know where the fuck he's going, he's all like this. And of course he gets counted out, because why wouldn't he? That leaves Shamrock versus Brown and Maivia. D.O.A. falls a few moments later from the ankle lock, and then a perfect DDT gets 2 for Rock, as does a People's Elbow, which gets no reaction at all. He doesn't do the elbow pad bit, but that, he does the motions of it, and no reaction whatsoever. Releasing all suplex by Ken is really nice. He follows up with the Rana and a match-winning ankle lock. Not as good as the last Survivor Series match, but still a decent match. It's a 2.5 star match, I think. It's better than I was expecting, is what I'll say. And, the fans really hate Rocky, don't they? They really, really hate him, which is brilliant. Bear with me a second. I should really edit this out, shouldn't I? But it's a lot of effort for not a lot of time saved. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin defeating Owen Hart to in an okay match. No, it wasn't. It was shit. I'd lie. In a crap match to win the Intercontinental Championship. So this one, you know what happened there. Owen broke Austin's neck at SummerSlam. Austin's been stunnering people left, right, and centre. Owen won the championship last month, as you know, and then basically Owen's been going around since then promising to break Stone Cold's neck because he's nice like that. Build up to this one takes ages. It's probably because they're erecting a giant glass skull across the entranceway, which promptly and almost predictably doesn't crash to the ground when the glass breaks in Austin's music. So Austin sort of has to bash his way through it, which is quite amazing. Owen has Team Canada with him, which is funny. Austin may be popular here, but that doesn't stop these Canadian fans chanting "break his neck" and also popping like crazy when Owen gets him in a power driver position that Austin reverses. I mean, Owen tries to get counted out in this one. He tries to get intentionally disqualified, and it'd be all good if the match wasn't 4 minutes long. And it really made Owen look like a complete pussy, to be honest. It wasn't, Austin came back with punches and a stunner, and that's what got the win. And then Team Canada come in, and Austin stunners all them as well. I think this was at least a month too soon for Austin to be getting back in the ring, to be honest. He did not look very good. He could barely move. He barely did anything in the match. But my God, Austin was popular at this time. He was red hot at this time. So you can see why both he and the WWF wanted him back in the ring as fast as possible. So, but it's still a dud. It's still a shit match. I'm not going to give, I could give Austin extra credit for, doing a match with a broken neck, but I'm not prepared to do that because this, he's reckless. It could have ended his career, couldn't it? So, in our main event, Shawn Michaels defeating Bret Hart in an okay match to win the WWF Championship. Now, I'm not going to go over here about all the reasons and what happened in the build-up to this match and why these two guys don't like each other and all the contract stuff, because it's all out there on the internet. It's all common knowledge, isn't it? We all know what happened on this night, so I'm literally just going to talk about the match, all right? How's one that one sound? Good old tension music at the start, the dum 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 dum. Yeah, they should have that more often. It builds tension towards the main event. Main events need tension like that. Shawn immediately endears himself to this Canadian crowd by getting the Canadian flag and wiping his arse with it, blowing his nose with it, and then making love to it. It's nice. So they brawl on the outside and then around the crowd before the bell. The Future Stooges come out with Vince. They come and try and talk some sense in them. It doesn't work. They brawl around the entrance way. When they eventually get into the ring, I mean, the match is all right. Bret chokes Shawn with a Quebec flag. That's an interesting one. Shawn controls for a bit, and then Bret makes a comeback that naturally fans go absolutely bonkers for. Until they start chanting Bret sold out, which is quite an interesting one. I wasn't expecting that. I must have completely forgotten that had happened. It's been about 5 years since I've seen this pay-per-view before I watched it today. Bret goes through his variation of the 5 moves of doom. If people want to rip on Cena for only knowing 5 moves, they can surely fucking rip on Bret, can't they? You know how it goes: leg sweep, suplex, backbreaker. But then he goes for the elbow off the second rope and knocks down Earl Hebner. Because Shawn had pulled him in front of him. Shawn rakes the eyes and then puts on a sharpshooter. Earl Hebner makes a miraculous recovery, checks in once, and then says, "Ring the bell." Earl then gets out of the ring at warp speed. As the commentators are shocked, Shawn Michaels looks pissed off. Bret Hart's face tells the whole story of this one. Briscoe marches Shawn to the back, and then very, very quickly we go off the air. We don't get to see Bret spit at Vince, for example. Every footage you see of the Screwjob, you see that. This, you don't see that, interestingly. And yeah, let me tell you about this one. As a match, I think it's about a 2-star match. But the thing about this match is that everyone knows about it, but I think after 100 views, and how many times have you as a wrestling fan seen the footage of this moment, yeah? I think after a while you could become a bit desensitized to it, and 15 years or something like 14, 15 years later, it really doesn't have the same effect as it did at the time. At the time, you knew that this was a shocking thing. Like, this is, you turn it to me, it's like, is that real? What's just happened here? Jim Ross says in commentary, where you talk about controversy, it was, it wasn't the best match I've ever seen, let's put it that way. But it was all right. It just wasn't great. And yeah, as a historical thing, so you're up on your wrestling history, you need to have seen this match at least once. As a pay-per-view, it's full of either poor matches or average matches. So you're looking at a rating of about 4 out of 10. If you're feeling particularly nice, I wouldn't want to go any higher than that because there is a dud in there. There's a 1 star and a half star match. There's 2 2-stars and a 3. They're average. So yeah, we'll go with 4 out of 10 because I'm in a good mood. I should probably be closer to 3. Anyway, 1 left to go. D-Generation X next month. Believe it or not, ready for this one? I've never seen it. All right, believe it or not, I've seen the Austin and Rock confrontation, and that's it. Nothing else on that whole show. So I'm actually looking forward to that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what did you think of Survivor Series 97? What did you think watching it live? Tell me what you thought when you saw the screw job happen. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read your experiences of that. I've been Mark Thee, why not? I've been Mark Thee. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment, like I say, and yeah, that's about it, really. I'll be back soon. Take it easy, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.